Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it. We'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. I hope you're doing well. All of a sudden, April just went like this, didn't it? All of a sudden, May is next week. Unbelievable. Super, super crazy. But if you haven't checked out, lots of people are reporting prices online, so please go to the iScrap app's website, report some of your prices, check out prices that other people have reported. We're going to look and kind of jump right into copper. Virginia, if you could click on Bear Bright, we'll go over that for a second. But copper prices in the last week have had a 2.5% gain. We've now seen copper prices trading higher than they have in about a year. What you can see here is 377, 420 is too high of a number. That's probably a mistype. But my yard is paying 385 today for Bear Bright. Right, 385 is a number that you should see within a few weeks, depending where you are, at least in 360s or 370s. And if you've learned anything from iScrap is when you deal with scrap yards, things are negotiable. So when you have a lot of weight, whether it's copper, brass, steel, whatever, scrap yards have room to move. You know, they have different ranges. So if you're looking to make money, look at some of these prices jumping here. 342 national average, 385, 377. These are really strong numbers, and you're going to start to see this going across to number one tubings, brasses, etc. You know, and why? Why are copper prices jumping? Because I didn't expect them to, but I've been trying to look at things from a different perspective. So what did I start to do? I started to look outside of the normal industries that I pay attention to, the auto sector, the commercial building sector, the world's growth development. What did I find? Let's talk about artificial intelligence and AI, right? How does that contribute to the copper growth, and how could that contribute to prices increasing for the next 6 months, 12 months, 10 years? Artificial intelligence, Netflix, Google, Apple, what do they all have in common? They need servers. They need servers to host data. They need servers to hold music, videos, social media, etc. These servers are going to continue to be filled, because once you fill the hard drive with X amount of gigs or terabytes at this point, right, you need another hard drive, and that information isn't going anywhere. As more servers are built, more buildings are needed, but more importantly, more copper is needed. Artificial intelligence powered by lots and lots of servers and computing ability and motherboards and power. You need copper to run the lines. You need metals for the chips. You need copper to run the electric. You need copper to connect everything. So the AI boom that is now upon us, that has been being developed for years. Think about it. Siri, right, is just another type of artificial intelligence helping you when you say to your phone, hey, Siri, I need you to remind me of something, or hey, Siri, send someone a message. That's just another thing that's been computing data for years. And now with the boom going into all types of economies and industries, from scrap metal to your phones, copper is going to be needed, and that's a really good thing. We've also seen the copper prices parlay into aluminum prices upticking. Week over week, we're only up a little over 1% on the aluminum markets, but for the last couple of months, we are up about 10%. When you see some of the sheet prices, and we'll pull up in a second, sheet aluminum numbers are rising, and they're going to be really close to 50 cents, if not over that very soon. Here we go. 49 cents a pound national average, with reported prices 52, 38, 50, 54, 55. Today, we're paying 49 cents at Rockaway Recycling. We have a price update coming this Friday, which is going to jump those prices again as long as the market stabilizes. So if you're looking to hold on to material, now may be a good time to be able to cash it in. But I will tell you, I do read articles about copper prices climbing even more, aluminum prices climbing even more. But then you have the flip side, and we can talk about the steel markets, right? Steel prices week over week, relatively unchanged, right? And if you look at some of the things that I just said, what really needs steel? Sure, you need steel for buildings and server cabinets, but that's plentiful right now. Now, a lot of you have been talking about the tripling of the Chinese steel tariffs and how that's going to affect the market. As we scroll and see some of the prices that are around for the last 30 days, let's look at our bellwether shred, kind of stabilized. You can see very little change over the last 30 days. 158 is kind of where it's been. And if you look at the prices, they reflect that. We're looking at steel. We're looking at other markets. Iron ore, some companies are producing a little less right now because of the oversupply of scrap in the markets. We're looking at the Chinese tariffs potentially being tripled on steel. And one of the reasons that the Biden administration wants to expand on the Trump administration tariffs is to stop the Chinese from flooding the worldwide market with so much cheaper metals, whether it's steel or zinc. These are things that are primarily over in China that they're using to galvanize on top of steel or whatever they're producing inside of brass as well. But they're looking to put those tariffs on the Chinese steel. And what could that do to the U.S. market? I don't know. It could do one of two things. One, it could indicate that we value U.S. steel recycling higher than exporting it, and prices could increase. Two, we could actually see the opposite effect happen. And you could see steel mills in the United States saying, hey, listen, we don't have to pay as much money anymore for steel scrap because we know that the Chinese scrap isn't going to be coming into the United States because of the tariffs. So we don't have to really move our steel prices. And that's similar to what's happening right now in the stainless market, in a similar front where nickel prices have shot up. I mean, nickel prices just in the last week up almost 6%, but stainless prices are down because the demand's not there. So it's a little funny markets to look at right now. And as we navigate the steel markets, the copper markets, et cetera, it's going to be a little hard on price forecasting for the balance of this year. Long term, 5 to 10 years, copper demand increasing, aluminum strong, right? But steel prices for the balance of this year, because we don't expect any interest rate cuts, it's going to be more expensive to borrow money. So some of the larger buildings may be slowed down, but we're also seeing a huge housing market going up right now, which also brings builders from the commercial to the residential sector working on more wood, plywood, 2x4s, taking metal out of the industry, being used every day. These are all little things that add up to the big picture. So it's just good to know about these in advance. Let's talk about catalytic converters. rrcats.com continuing to quote people on cats. We'll bring some cat prices up right now, but we have seen another stable market for the catalytic converter prices. Things like bread loaves and large domestics have been relatively flatlined week over week, with platinum, palladium, and rhodium relatively even in the last week, with only platinum slightly down. We have seen these markets going pretty strong. If we look at the averages right now, we can click on bread loaf cat. That's a good bellwether. Not gonna, okay. We're seeing a stable market. We're seeing an industry demand starting to shrink. And I did see that next year they are forecasting palladium a 2% decline in the amount of palladium needed, which could take some of these catalytic converter prices down. And that really is because 90% of the palladium market is for catalytic converters. As we electrify, right, trucks, buses, cars, vans, etc., less catalytic converters, less palladium needed. And it's so funny, you think about any metal in the world, right? Aluminum, steel, copper, brass, platinum, gold. You can use these for multiple purposes. When you have a metal like palladium, where 90% of the usage is in the auto sector, that's a real slap in the face when it comes to palladium prices, because you just aren't going to have any strength coming anytime soon. Even with the increased emission demands, we're unfortunately not going to see that increased demand for the palladium markets or a lot of the catalytic converter markets to begin with. Now, looking at other metals, stainless steel I mentioned, down slightly week over week as nickel prices continue to grow. Now, I talked to several large recycling outfits and I learned about what they're doing with their stainless. 4 different people that I talked to are holding between 300 and 800,000 pounds of stainless steel, expecting the markets to go up. That was only in the East Coast out of 10 people that I talked to. So what does that show? That shows that people, even though nickel is trading upwards, stainless steel demand is trading downwards. And unless we have a large growth or a big shortfall of it, we don't see these stainless prices moving for a little while, even though they should based on trading prices. So it's a little confusing right now when we look at these markets. I just don't know what's going on, and I'm looking to learn about these more and more. On the carbide and the rare earth side of things, nickel prices have helped specialty alloys like Inconel, carbide, tungsten, other metals have good effects from that. So we've seen the team over at rrcarbide.com continually quoting higher prices on carbide. I believe last week we saw prices go up 15 cents per pound on average as nickel prices are helping things like Inconel and other alloys that go into high temperature sectors such as aerospace or just the general aviation industry. So those are also good things that could help down the road. Now, if you're looking to learn more about carbide or other rare earths, I know that this is not something that you come across every day as a scrapper, but this is another great tool. rrcarbide.com shows you different types of carbides, materials, price ranges, just gives you a real complement of things and lets you see them from a different perspective. You're not going to find carbide tips often in a general scrapping, but if you do come across machine shops or businesses, they have carbide, and those might be areas that you can work with where you're already getting some of their other scrap, or you can work things together. Our carbide provides free shipping labels for a lot of scrap across the country. So check that out. You can really learn more about it and grow your industry knowledge overall. Now, steel prices, while I told you they were flatlined, I did hear a small rumor that we may see a $5 to $20 uptick in May. Again, not enough to make big changes for. I'm looking at the oil and gas market with a lot of the instabilities in Iran, Israel, Ukraine, the Middle East, Eastern European sector, Russia as a whole. I'm expecting oil prices to really shoot up going into Memorial Day and the 4th of July. We haven't seen that increase happening, but I do see it coming as we've kind of negated that for a little while. Now, why is that important? I do see trucking costs and fuel costs increasing, which could hurt the steel industry going into the summer, traditionally the busiest time. So we're going to watch out for this really closely and really just learn about these markets in depth so we can figure out how the tariffs are going to affect things, how market demand, auto sector, all of those kind of roll together. So scrappers, this is Tom. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. Please ask, comment, questions below. Whatever you want us to talk about, let us know. Fresh videos dropping every single week, so let us know if there's something you want us to talk about. And until next week, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.